Hey, good day, everyone. My name is Ram Posham. I'm a cloud architect. First of all, Happy New Year. I just want to show you a quick demo of Graph Studio that comes with the Oracle Autonomous Database. It's, just a quick demo, just to give you a jump start. My goal is not to make you a Graph Studio specialist. In fact, I'm not a specialist in that area, but it is exciting if you want to just know what it is, you want to play with it. I thought this demo should help you get started, okay? So the plan is I just want to define the problem that I'm trying to solve, then create an autonomous database. Actually, here I'm just going to show you the steps. Then I'm going to create a Graph Studio user. Then after that, I'm going to load the data. There are two files, bank accounts and bank transactions, basically consisting of transfers from one account to another account. And then I'm going to log into the Graph Studio and do some kind of analysis. I had to show you how you can identify fraudulent activities, like, from one account, you're transferring the money to another set of accounts, and from there to another set of accounts, and so on and back to the original account, right? They are called cyclic transfers. So I will show you that. There's already a notebook that you can use to try this thing yourself. So the data is something like this. So you got a file called bank transactions. So you got from account to account, and what is the transaction type? Transfer, and how much is the amount that is transferred. So you can see from account 1, you're transferring money to account 672, and from 672, you're transferring account money to account 833, and this is the amount, by the way. And see, from here it goes there, and from 833, you're transferring money back to account 1. See this one? This is a cycle transaction. So this could be a fraudulent activity in the area of money laundering and so on. So it's using Graph Studio, it's very easy to identify such transactions. So I'm going to show you how to create the autonomous database. Then I'm going to create a user called ADB Graph 1, and then I'm going to log in as that user and load the data and so on, right? And after the loading the tables, two tables, I need to create constraints. I need to create primary keys, which is a requirement for Graph Studio. And I also have to create the foreign keys, because that's how you define the edges. Then I'm going to download this notebook that I have. I have put it on the website, so you can also download it. Then you can run the demos, all right? So some of the SQL that I'm going to be using, I will show you that. There's a separate file. And what I suggest is, after this demo is over, I recommend you to watch this PGQL introduction deep dive webcast. It's about an hour and 15 minutes or so. I would highly recommend it. And if you want to learn more about Graph Studio or graph capabilities within Oracle database, you can review this documentation and also this blog by one of our vice presidents. All right. So let me quickly get started. So let me start with the autonomous database. So here we go. So I already have an autonomous database that's already there. But if you want to create an autonomous database, you provide the compartment that you should know once you log into Oracle Cloud, what that compartment is all about. Then you provide the display name, database name, define the workload type, whether it's a data warehousing or data transaction processing, whether you want to use a shared infrastructure or dedicated. Shared is where that infrastructure is shared by different customers. So you get your own pluggable database as autonomous database. Your data is totally isolated, but the hardware infrastructure is shared by other customers. and there's no real over provisioning, so that should not be a concern for you. And you specify the database version, number of CPUs, how much storage you want. These are the defaults, and you provide the super user password. Admin is the super user, system, like system in an Oracle database, and then the passwords, all right? And then you can provide your ACL from where you can access this database. If you want to access from a particular IP address, you can specify that, or you can specify VCNs and so on. So, and then after that, you just create the database. It takes about a minute or two. All right, so I'm not going to go through that. Let me go back. So let me use my database. So I log in. By default, it logs in as actually admin. I need to specify the username password. So then I need to create a user called, let's create a user called ADB graph1, specify the password. Make as a graph user, and we're going to have web access and grant some quota, 100 megabyte small file actually. And then look at the permissions, right? One of the things that you would need would be this role for loading the data. So that's why that's another one you grant and create the user. You're done. And then what we're going to do is we're going to log out as this user and log in as ADB graph1. Okay. Then we are going to load the data. So before we do that, what we do is let us define the location where these files are located. So there is something called add cloud store location, and you say my bank accounts and transactions. So there's a public folder. So go back to this PowerPoint, right? So this is the folder from where we are going to download the files. Next. So there are all these files. I mean, by the way, this PowerPoint that I'm sharing is also uploaded there. Also this Studio notebook, all right? And all the script, that SQL script that I'm using is also there in this. It is there in this text file, is also there in this notebook. So, but these are the two important files that we need, bank transactions, okay? So create that. So this is the location where you're going to download those files from. So go back here and say now, say data load, and from the cloud storage. So you see this, it knows that this is the location, and these are the two files that you want to load, right? Very small files. And then say load. Okay, so now you can go back here, log into SQL Plus, and you see these are the two files. You can say select star from bank accounts. So you just want to see the data, how it looks like. So it's just two columns, bank account ID, account name, account, and similarly, if you want to know transactions. All right, so you see the from account to account, what is this description? What is this transaction description? And the amount that is transferred from account 1 to account 418, and so on, right? So that's the basic checks. Then we'll go back and log into the Graph Studio. Actually, let's go back to the SQL Plus. We need to add those constraints, right? So from this file, see this one, these are the constraints that we need to add. Okay, so see this one, I'm adding a primary key to the bank accounts, then basically the account ID. And then for the bank transactions, there is no one column. So what I'm doing is actually I'm creating a surrogate key using the row number. So that's what I'm adding a column, updating that column, and then committing it. And then I'm creating a primary key for the transactions table. Then I'm creating foreign keys, all right? And that's what we are going to run, the script. So it will just create in no time. So all those things are done. Now let's go back. Now let's go to Graph Studio, all right? So let's log into this ADB Graph 1. So from here onwards, actually, I'll be running some of these demos. So what we will do is go to this notebooks, and you then do an import, all right? So I have that file, by the way, in my local directory. See this one, that's the file that I'm going to be uploading. So you can download from that location. I'm going to share in the video notes. And after that, right, just say import. Right. So it is actually attaching the Graph Studio environment. But I'm going to go through each and every paragraph in this notebook, right? It's a Zeppelin notebook. Now, while that's going on, actually, I can do some of this work. Dismiss this. So see, some basic checks you can do. So this is a SQL block. And if you want to just run this, I mean, I have already run this in SQL plus SQL worksheet, but in the notebook also, you can do the same thing. Just for basic checks, we can do this. I think while it is attaching, it's going to wait. So anyway, we have to wait for another few seconds. If you like, you can fast forward this video while you're waiting, all right? While I'm waiting. So should not take more than a few more seconds. So I got all this code. I will check it. Okay, now it's done. So see this. Okay, it's done. It says 40 milliseconds or 400 milliseconds. So if you want to have 20 rows, for example, right? You can do that just for fun. So that's how we can do. Then this is the second one. So that is from the bank accounts. This is from a transactions table. So you can run this also. Then I want to know how many rows are there in each table, right? So that's this one. So it's a very simple query. Just a few seconds. Then the next thing that we need to do is we need to create a property graph. So to repeat this demo, first thing is it was already there, you drop it. But since that's not there, if I run it, I'm going to get an error because that graph is not yet created. So obviously it's going to complain, all right? But you go to the next one. Here you create the graph. So the graph is very interesting. You see, it's a create property graph, bank transactions, PG view graph, right? This is the name that you provide. So you list the number of vertex tables. So here in this case, bank accounts is the vertex. So that's one table. And bank transactions actually form the edges, right? So that's what this one is. So this is a syntax, create property graph. By the way, this syntax is not supported in SQL worksheet, although I believe it is supported in SQL developer. So anyhow, so this is how you do in the notebook. So create property graph and provide the tables, right? The vertex table as this one, and you provide the key, column name, and what are the properties that you're going to look at in your demo, in your graphs. Okay. Similarly, edge table. So this is the table, and this is the column. Source key is from account ID, and it's references bank accounts. This is the foreign key, remember? Destination key is the two columns in this bank account transactions table, bank transactions table, and they are basically foreign key into the bank accounts table. And then properties that we are going to access them are transaction ID from account to account and description and so on. So that's what you need to specify. This is the syntax, and then you run this. So it creates the property graph. Takes a few seconds. Okay, it is done. So it took hardly 1 second for that. Then next thing is we need to load the property graph into the memory, because once after this thing is loaded into the memory, then we can do the analysis. So look at that. All right. So it says, see, there are 1,000 vertices, basically 1,000 rows in the accounts table, and edges are 4,998. That actually matches with this one too. See this one, 1,000 and 4,998 rows. All right, 4.998 thousand times 1,000. So that's what this one is. So now if you just want to repeat this again, you can run this. Now it will not throw the error because I'm just repeating the demo, right? So that is graph is dropped. Now I can recreate this. So that is done. So the next thing is I have to load it. I already loaded it into the memory actually. So if I try to do this, it's going to actually say, hey, it's already there. So I don't need to do that. Actually, there is a way to close the graph also from the memory. I should have it at the bottom, but maybe not. I can close it as well as, so this is already loaded. So if I run it again, it says it's already, see this one, it's already loaded. That's what the message you get. Now, let's do some basic analysis. So we can, this is the PGQL syntax, select label V, that's a vertex, as vertex type. So you can have multiple tables in real world. It could be customers table, it could be accounts table, it could be, in the case of inventory, it could be inventory table and so on. So they're all called vertex types. So here there's only one single table. So I just want to run it. So this is the syntax for that. So bank accounts is the vertex. So it says there are 1,000 rows in that, or instances. And similarly, bank transactions. So here you go. So here you got bank transactions, 4,998. Now this is going to be the interesting part. Now we want to see the graphs, right? So for example, here, I want to select V1, that means vertex 1, edge 1, and vertex 2. That means you want to see how the money is transferred from these things. So this is the edge. See, so you're saying match vertex 1, that is from this to this through this edge. So these are all just variables. V1, E1, V2 are just variables. So if I run this, it will tell you. So for example, I can say this. What it is actually this one, if I see, it says bank account 564. And if I click on this, it says this is the amount of money that was transferred. All right. And these are the other attributes from account to account, 564 to 274. So see that arrow. Now, if you want, actually, you can also label these things. So go here, you can do the customization. And here you can say my page size should be 500. All right. It varies from 0 to 1,000. And you can also make it hierarchical. Actually, this is the most interesting one, actually, hierarchical, top to bottom. And then you can have these labels. So vertex, I want to have the label, and if you want to have it on the top, you can say on the top of it. And then edge also can be having the label. So I want to have the amount of money that was transferred, right? So that's amount. So those are the things that you can do. See, so from account 12, you transfer this to this one. So this thing is not complete. It's 458, all right? So that's what this one is. This is so you can drag and drop, you can resize this, and so on. So that's how you're saying from this account, you're transferring money to this, you transfer this, and so on, right? So this is a nice visual representation. The next one is they're a little more complex. You want to know this hops, right? This is from account 1 to account 2, account 2 to account 3, 2 hops. So let's run this. So that's what you see here, right? And now we can also have these labels. So let's customize this. Actually, I thought I did customize this, but anyhow, let's use the hierarchical one. Let's use the edge account. And here is the amount, okay? Okay, I need to show you the customization here. Okay, hierarchical. So that's what I want to show you. So now you can see from this account, you're transferring money to this. From here, it goes to this. So that's the flow of the money. Now, the next one is we want to find cycle transfers. So you're transferring money from account 1 to account 2 and back to account 1. So that's this one. So we can see if I run this. All right, see this one. So by the way, this number 10 is a last number of vertices. For example, here, these are the 10, we say limit 10, right? So that is the bottom accounts. So if you count this ones, right? By the way, there are labels also. So V3, they are the number of occurrences. So from here, money is flowing to here. So these are the leaf accounts, if you want to. So there are 10 leaf accounts. That's what we are meaning by this limit. All right. So here, same thing. Again, we can make it hierarchical, actually. Just let me make it hierarchical. See that? So you can see that money, this one is actually V1. So money is going from V1 to V2 and then coming back, right? So that's how the money is flowing. Okay. Okay, the next one is a little more interesting. So 1 hop, 2 hops, and 3 hops, right? So if I run this, you get this. All right. And you can increase the page size and so on. But let's look at this one where I got cyclic transfer, right? So let's customize this first. Make it page size increase 500 and make it hierarchical. And let's have the labels also. Labels are vertex account. Let's put it on the top. Let's put it on the top, or yeah, let's put it on the top. And the edge, let's put just the amount of money that was transferred. All right. So now let's run this. So you can see, now if you want to see a better view, actually you can use this one, expand this. So you can see that. And also if you want to limit it to, let's say 4, just for, you can do that. So you can see, this is V1. See how the money is flowing. V1 to V2. And so this is V1. It's going to this account. From there, it's going to this account. And then it's coming back here. So you see 1, 2, and 3 hops. And so on. So everything that is, what happens is when you have more number of if this query results in more number of transfers, then obviously it's going to be a bit cluttered. Then you have to zoom out and you have to do all that. So, but you get the idea, right? So you can do this. So then this is a little more complex one. All right. Now you can combine multiple things also. You can say match. You can do multiple matches. If you want to get single hop, 2 hop and 3 hop cyclic transfers. So that's what I'm trying to do here. All right. So here, see, match VV1 going to edge 1, VV2 account 2, then edge 2 and VV1 back to vertex 1. So here V1 to V1. So those are the things that you can do. But again, as I said in the beginning, this is just to give you a jump start. If you want to learn more about graph, I would strongly recommend that watching that video by Melly, one of our product managers. So that will give you a much better idea. All right. But hopefully this will help you just play with it, get some idea, then build upon that. All right. So that's what I wanted to show you. And one thing I didn't show is, we have created the graph here. We loaded it in the memory, but there is a way to unload from the memory also. So I will add that graph. I will add that block at the bottom, and then post this on the website. Okay. So with that, I'm going to close this call, and I wish you a wonderful new year. All right.